Good morning. We are absolutely delighted that you are here, especially on kind of this stormy, dreary day that you ventured out to join us. We've got three great presenters dialed up to share the things that they're doing in their classrooms. As we said, this is TIC, Tech Integration and Collaboration, and this particular session focuses on foreign language. My name's Deb Vail. I'm an instructional technology consultant here with Heartland. To give you a little orientation, on the whiteboards on either side, if you are a Twitter user, there's our hashtag. There is a link to the agenda, okay, a shortened URL. There is also a hard copy of the agenda on the table with the resources that are available for you folks. There is also a link to our TIC website. If you go to that TIC website, I just want to show you what's here so that you're able to use this resource. When you hop on first, the first page gives you the opportunity to register to come to the sessions, okay? So they're direct links to register. It doesn't cost you anything, but we just like to get a sense of how many people are coming. If you go to the next tab, it's got all of the sessions so that you can plan ahead. You have got a colleague that might be interested. These are the upcoming sessions as well as the content areas that will be of focus, okay? Currently, the only one that's active is this first one, okay? If you want to join the TIC Google group so that you will get announcements on the Google listserv, then you can sign up here and you'll be added to the listserv. When we finish these up, the videos get edited and put on this archive link so you can go back. Let's say you can't come to one, but you want to go back and look at the videos, you can access those there, okay? And then TIC resources from past years are all right here with the links, okay? Just wanted to give you a quick orientation. We are rearranging the order of things. On your schedule, it says that Joe Sallin is going to be first, and we are rearranging things. I want to introduce you to Jason Noble from Pella Christian School. He's going to share expanding the walls of your classroom. Thanks.
Thank you, Deb. All right, so welcome everybody, and thank you to the Heartland AEA for putting this on. This is a really great thing, I think, for teachers in our AEA. And my name, as Deb said, is Jason Noble. I teach Spanish at Pella Christian High School, and I'm also the vice president of the Iowa World Language Association. And just a short plug, we've got our conference coming up in 2 weekends, the 8th and the 9th, or 9th and 10th of October. So if you haven't signed up, you've got till the 1st of October before it goes up. So just a quick plug for that. If you want to get to this page that I'm showing up here, this is a quick shortened link. You can type in that whole long link and go to my wiki and where I have all my presentations, but this will take you directly to the page that I'm going to be dealing with today. So it's is.gd, like is good. Which, by the way, if you've never used a link shortener tool, these can come in handy. And I like to use is.gd because then you can customize it. There's others that you can as well. I guess it's just a preference thing. But if you don't have one, is.gd is a really good one that shortens your links. And then / and it's capital TIC 15. So that will take you to this site. And I actually don't want this to be a sit and get. I want you guys participating, and there's some stuff to do. It looks like everybody's got their computers and different devices. So there will be some stuff for you to do with this. But the title of this is Expanding the Walls of Your Classroom. And I've really been thinking about the ACTFO guidelines of community. And I think it's one of the hardest of the 5 C's to hit. It's easy to get the culture, and it's easy to get the speaking stuff, and it's really hard, it seems, to get the communities. And so that's kind of where I'm going with this, is how you can get your students using Spanish outside of your class, how you can help students even when you're not there. So I wanted to start by asking you a question. What do you do already to expand the walls of your classroom? And so if you go to this site and you go to this TIC Des Moines, or if you follow this link, will take you directly to it. Open up this Google Doc and write down your ideas. I believe it should be open. It looks like we got a lot of anonymous animals in there. It should be open, but just go ahead and start writing down some things. What do you already do? The nice thing about this is that this will be available afterwards, so if you're like, so-and-so was talking about something and I don't remember what it was, you can go back to this and look that up. So if you, on the site, just click, open this doc and write your idea, and let's see what ideas you have about expanding the walls of your classroom. It could be some analog things that you do. It could be some tech things that you do. But what do you do? So yeah, Zoom, scavenger hunt. It's kind of hard when there's a whole bunch of people. Anybody else have something and I can just type it in for you? Make a food, watch a film. I want to give you a couple minutes with your table groups, and if you want to kind of brainstorm and throw some in, and then let's come back to this. And the beauty of this is that it's asynchronous, so if I'm talking about something that's just really boring you can go back and investigate some of these things. I realize I like to make it so that you can kind of personalize your own learning, and so that's what this is for. It won't offend me if I'm talking about something that you're not interested in. Go back here and explore some of these things. I want this to be valuable for you. Take about one more minute. We're getting a lot of good stuff. So it looks like a good mix of some analog and some digital things. Bringing in salsa and bachata Des Moines to teach dance lessons would be, analog thing. I don't want to just get into the mindset that it has to be tech. Taking a trip to Spain is expanding the walls of your classroom. All of us take our trips, and that's another great way. Cultural connection. A lot of good things in here. Taking students to Costa Rica, and then some tech things. We Speak. I've heard of that. It's where you can basically Skype chat with other language learners and kind of have a language exchange. italki is another one I've heard, like We Speak, and Twitter. Twitter is a great resource. I'm doing a unit on immigration, and at our Christian school, there's a speaker who talks about immigration from the Christian perspective, and we're having him Skype in through outreaching through Twitter. So through Twitter, you can reach out to people in your content area and things that would go along with your lessons. So good. I'm going to let you kind of sort through those. I'm not going to read for you. You guys are all professionals. So keep them coming too, though, if you have some other things to add. But I'm going to talk about some of the ways that I see that I've used to expand the walls of my classroom. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about is screencasting tools. By using screencasting tools, you can, in essence, record your lesson and then have it available for students when they're not in your classroom. So that's really good for students who are sick. That's really good for students who had to miss the day. That's really good for students who didn't get it the first time around. That's really good for students who didn't pay attention and didn't get it the first time around. It's an equal opportunity tool. The thing I really like is Screencast-O-Matic. And here's a link to it. It's not, it used to be web-based, and I think it still is in some ways, but for Macs, and it seems like a lot of you are using the same kind of Mac as I do, it's usually just easier to download the actual app. But you can, it can be web-based, depending on what you're running. And what Screencast-O-Matic allows you to do, I'm going to show you the app that I've downloaded. What it allows you to do is just basically, like it says, record your screen. And so if you had a PowerPoint, if you had some notes that you went over with the class, Screencast-O-Matic would allow you, after you call that up on your computer, to record yourself doing it. So $15, I believe, is what it is for the pro features. I don't have the pro features. I use the free version. But you know, $15 isn't that much. And I guess I'm cheap. I'm from Pella. We're Dutch people, and we don't like to pay. But here's the so here's where you just kind of size this to whatever you want to record. Like if you want to leave some things out, you just size this however you want it. You do have the option of using the camera built in, so that if you want students to be able to see your face, you've got a little box where the students can see your face. I never really have used that, but you can. It's super simple. Start recording, stop recording, all in the same button. Go back and listen to your recording. So I'm going to start recording, and it gives you the countdown, 3, 2, 1, go. And you record whatever you want to say. You've got the counter over here. You can tell that the audio is going. When you're done, hit pause, and you're ready to go. When you're done, just click done, and this is what it'll give you. So, so I already have a. If you already have an old one, it only allows you to save one on Screencast-O-Matic, but you can download them. Right here, publish to video file, and it'll just put the video file on your desktop. You can also publish it right to YouTube. I've never done the publish to Screencast-O-Matic, but you can also do that. A lot of times I'll publish the video file first because I want to have the file and make sure that's right, and especially for putting on different websites. But the YouTube's kind of handy too. And so I wanted to show you another hat I wear at my school is the teacher librarian, and I teach a digital literacy class, and it's all online. So we do that with the freshmen, and we're a one-to-one iPad school. So if you're a one-to-one iPad school and you want to make a screencast where it shows how to do it on an iPad, just a little extra thing, I didn't talk about this, but write down Screener. It's a application. It costs, or Reflector, sorry, Reflector 2 is the name of the thing that allows me to record what looks like my iPad. You basically are using like Apple TV. But Reflector 2 allows you to record this iPad. And so here, this was done using Screencast-O-Matic, using Reflector, and I'm on my iPad recording it. In this recording, I want to show you how you can use one of the iPad's functions in order to have text from. So you can just create, like we've created this channel, Digital Literacy, and we've put all of our digital literacy, I know how to is what that stands for, videos where because we're doing it with freshmen, and they start out and they don't know a whole lot with their iPads, so these I know how to's are the lessons that we do with that. But that was done through Screencast-O-Matic. Here's a link to it. Yeah, and as I said, for OS X 10 or OS 10 6 and above, you'll need to use the free download. Here's some alternatives. I found Screencast-O-Matic. It works. I liked it. I didn't really feel a need to look for any others, but maybe it doesn't do what you want it to do. Screener's another one. And then let me talk about EduCreations. How many of you have used or seen EduCreations? Super handy, especially like we are a one-to-one iPad school, especially if you have a tablet that you can write on. So I give you a link to my EduCreations channel. These are my lessons, and these are different grammar points that I do in class. I used to spend a lot more time doing these in class. Now I give them the highlights and I tell them to watch these. And if they don't do well on a test, I might send them back, hey, you need to go back, watch that video, and write down some notes on that video before you retake your test. So here's an example of the imperfect tense in Spanish using
This lesson talks
EduCreations.
about the imperfect tense in Spanish. The imperfect tense is used to talk about events that have happened in the
Not
past.
showing the screen. Let me see if I try it again. Normally what will be going on is there's like a whiteboard and you can just kind of do, there we go. So
This
now it's
lesson
showing up.
talks about the imperfect tense in Spanish,
skip ahead.
3 in the entire Spanish language verbs. We'll take a regular AR verb like hablar, and what you do first, like you do in the present tense and like you do in the preterite when you conjugate, is you take off the ending, in this case, same as the yo
So
form.
it allows
This
you to
is a
just
pattern
change
that's gonna be
colors
repeated
to write.
even
You
in the
feel like John
irregular
Madden
ones and also
on
in the
NFL
ER
Sunday, and
ones.
you can illustrate
So,
stuff.
hablabas,
So
hablaba,
by doing this, I have been able to expand the walls of my classroom for students who need some extra help. Go back and watch the EduCreation video. And I've just started, kind of building a repository of videos on different grammar topics. And so EduCreations is a great one. It's free. You can do it on the computer as well. It's just I'm not as good like writing with the mouse pad or with the mouse. You can do it. I don't know, maybe if I took a stylus and used it on my keypad, I would do better. But if you have access to a tablet, it's a lot nicer to just write it on the tablet. I put some other things in here as well for screencasting. Pixie Clip, PowerPoint. I just found out you can add audio to your PowerPoint presentations, and this talks about how you can do that. If you have some old ones that you would want to go back and add your voice narration to, this will be a good tool for you. And I put EduCreations back under the iPad thing. EduCreations now has it has like the little different pay levels you can get and unlock some more primo content if you pay. Explain Everything's another good one that I use a lot. And it used to be a lot better than EduCreations, because with EduCreations it used to be you couldn't go back and you couldn't delete like just the audio. You'd have to delete the whole thing and start over again. And Explain Everything didn't. You could just delete the audio and re-record it. Now EduCreations has that feature, and that's also in their free version that you can do that. So here's some more stuff to explore about screencasting, but anybody else use screencasting in here? A little bit? Anything, what do you guys use it for? What do you use Zoom? And
that's 40 minutes free and limited.
okay. I use that a little bit with Iowa Learning Online, and you can use it like a Skype as well and record your Skype session. Anybody else?
I do it for how-to videos so that I
How-to.
can do it in Spanish and use the terms
Yeah,
so the kids can see what I'm talking about.
yeah.
So if I'm using a new website, I usually use it for that.
It's a great way to maintain target language, And also, it's kind of like a cheater way of like, I'm explaining stuff in English outside of class so it doesn't count towards my 90% in the target language in the classroom, is how I look at it too. So as far as maintaining target language in that 90% the ACTFL calls for, it's a great tool. Anybody else? Screencasting ideas?
The only thing I wanted to mention is with screencasts, sometimes on Macs the audio won't work. So you need to download, it's called Soundflower.
Okay, you need to download Soundflower on the Mac if the audio doesn't work. That's a good tip.
We've had some problems with Screener with Java issues, and so we've used Jing also.
Oh yeah, Jing. Yeah, I've used Jing before too. I used to use Jing and then went to Screencast-O-Matic because it was completely web-based and you didn't have to download anything. But then now you have to download stuff. So that's how they get you. Let's move on, and I'm going to have another thing. And again, feel free, move through this at your leisure. I'm all for differentiating instruction, and so if you already know about Quizlet and are super bored of Quizlet, just you can move along and explore. This is designed to be interactive for you. So Quizlet is a great way to expand the walls of your classroom, because with Quizlet you can create the flashcards, so for vocabulary and for different practice things. By the way, just a quick survey. How many people in here use or have heard of Quizlet? Yeah, quite a few. Quizlet is the language teacher's best amigo. So here's my Quizlet, and I don't do the upgrade. Does anybody in here do the upgrade? Yeah? Is it worth it? No? How about you?
It depends on what you want it for. Like I can go in and see what my kids have practiced, not necessarily everybody's scores,
Uh-huh.
but I can see when they've practiced.
So for holding them accountable,
But if you have the free account, you can just steal somebody else if they already have the
who already added the pictures.
You could record your own voice, or like if
Yeah.
you have a friend, they could record over. So I mean, there are nice features. It's just if you don't want that or don't need that, it's
Yeah. So there's some debate. How much extra is it at this point? I don't remember. 25 for a year. 25 for a year. So yeah, in the whole scheme of things, not super expensive. But the thing I like about Quizlet too is the different the different games that they can play. And I've noticed too, I've always been, as a male teacher and as a male language learner, I've always been kind of sensitive that like a lot of guys don't get into language learning and language class, and I've always wondered why, and looked for ways to kind of get those guys involved, especially the ones who are like, this is stupid, I hate this class. And so I've seen with like Scatter and Space Race and those where they can see who's got the highest score, and sometimes I like feed that by saying, oh, Paco's got the highest score, I wonder if anybody will beat him this period. It kind of spurs them on to do better. Although I'm finding with the iPad, the Scatter, a lot of them, the ones that actually do get the highest score are just like this, and they aren't really learning. They're just like tapping it and hoping that they get it. So just something to be aware of with that. Kia, anybody in here use Kia? A few of you. I like Kia. The bad part is that with our iPads, the Java stuff doesn't work, and so I wish Kia would get with the times, man, and get rid of all these like Java-based things that don't work on iPads, and I think that would be really helpful for a lot of teachers. But you can still do some. You can still do the little. It's like the flash games that you can't do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but you can do quizzes, and you can do the little the 4 games that they do together. And so I used this more in the past, and I don't use it quite as much anymore. It's a great tool, I think, for practice exams that gives them immediate feedback. I like it. I usually do like a practice exam before the big semester exam and kind of give them the key things that I'm going to ask them on the semester exam, give it to them on here, and tell them to have at it, go through, practice it, retake it as many times as you want. I don't count it as a grade or anything, but it's great practice. Sometimes in the past I have said you have to at least try to take it once, and that's your ticket to take the real thing to get them. But most of the time I don't have trouble with students not taking it. And so just another way of expanding your classroom. So what are some practice apps or websites that you use, general or content specific? I've got a doc right here. Open that up. It's a different one. Some of you guys are already in. Kahoot. I love Kahoot. My students love Kahoot. And how many of you guys have learned of the Kahoot? I was just last year, and it's making the rounds in the ed circles. Kahoot is pretty cool. Duolingo is a good one. And especially if you get students set up with Duolingo, and what I do in my class is I don't give extra credit, but I give what are called cafe points. And what it is, it stands for like CAFE, stands for comienzo, the beginning of class. If they're ready to go at the beginning, I give them a point. Algo especial is the A, so something special, and that's my catch-all. So I'm like, oh, you know what, good point, punto de café. Fracaso. So if they make a mistake, and not just any mistake, but a mistake that I can turn around and turn into an explanation, I know they're kind of like, oh no, he's using my mistake to explain it. But then I'm like, all right, punto de café, and the whole class is cheering them. So they can't just like make any old mistake on purpose, and if I think they are, I'll just like restate it the correct way and move on. It has to be one that I stop and be like, I'm glad you said that, and let's talk about why. And then the E is, no, that's not errores. What is, español, for staying in Spanish. But with Duolingo, I would give them points for getting to a certain level or things like that. It's a great thing to do at the end of class, and also on sub days, build in 5 minutes of Duolingo. And I have some some teachers in the school who are trying to learn Spanish, and they're going through Duolingo, and they really like it too. Conjuguemos. I like Conjuguemos. A lot of times if students don't do well on a test, I personally allow them to retake. And if they don't do well on the test and it's like a grammar, conjugation is where they're making all their mistakes, I'll have them go back and do Conjuguemos and show me that you got 25 right, and then we'll see, then you can redo. Lyrics training, I've heard of that. That's a good one too, where you listen to the songs and you have to type in the word. It's like a close activity where you have to type in the words. Textative, I haven't heard of that one. So, who had textative? How's that work? How do you?
Textivate.
Or Textivate.
Textative.
Textative.
And it would probably work better with stories, but it creates all of these reading activities with it. It'll
Creates reading activities and stories.
And you can have like 6 versus 8 versus 12 tiles. It'll give you part of the story, and then you can click the next part. You can have random fill in the gaps, or you can create one where you choose the vocab.
Oh, sorry, yeah, so we can get you on here. So it's like creating stories, and it's really getting them to interact with the text, and really good for like a TPRS or comprehensible input classroom.
You can also add video.
Add video.
And you can put the lyrics you want in there and stuff like that too.
Nice. Mi Vida Loco, Destino Series, Class Zone, Edgenuity, Senor Wooly. My students really like Senor Wooly, especially Guapo. I play that with my Spanish 2s. And the Puedo Ir al Baño is another one they really like, too. News, Ella. Oh, nice. So I'm gonna move along, but again, feel free, come back. In essence, you're creating your own handouts is what you're doing, and share for the good of the cause. So I will leave those, and I will leave them unlocked. At the end, if you want to just make a copy, you can and put it in your Google Drive, or you should be able to access this. I'm not going to do anything to it. You should be able to access it through this website. So these two things, the screencasting tools and the extra practice tools, are all good ways to get your students doing your language outside of the classroom. But I think the key is to have like a central location, a place where you can put everything and they can just go to, and a place where they can access it, and it's always in the same spot, especially if you have them multiple years. Now my Spanish 4s, they just know where to go to get this stuff. If your school uses Moodle, or if some other web provider, you just put that there. Put it in your Moodle if that's what your school uses. I personally like Google Sites better than Moodle. I guess it depends. I like Moodle for some things, but I really like Google Sites for mine. Maybe because I had it before our school adopted Moodle. That might be it, and I'm just getting crotchety. But if you have a Gmail account, you can create a website using that same account. It's simple, it's free. I wanted to show you a little bit my class site. Whoops, now there we go. This is my class site. I have it locked down to my students because like sometimes I'll have, we have the little TPRS books, and sometimes I'll assign them to do a reading at home, and I don't want them to take my actual book, so I'll put it on there, and for that reason I don't have it. But if you want in, just talk to me and I'll get you access to my site. But yeah, so I have all my Spanish 2 stuff. Another way that I'm kind of expanding the wall of my classroom, although kind of in reverse, I just put my subplans on here as well, and this is what they have to do today. I've got them trained now that they know, and the subs, we get the usual subs, they know, send them there, and I just leave this and make the link active when I'm gone, and then just make the link inactive when I'm there. And I put, I kind of have it set up like a Moodle site as well, but I have different things that we do, and this is where they can all go to get it. And if you're interested in going around, snooping around, that's fine. I put student work, but it's stuff that's already been published, like those YouTube videos. This are student work, but they sign a thing at the beginning of the year saying they're okay with me putting it on YouTube, and if they want to opt out, they can. But yeah, so we're talking about the presente del subjuntivo right now in Spanish 3. I was just talking about this with some other people. So my slideshows are on there, so they can go and they can go back and look over these things. They can go back and we just did this in class to kind of introduce it. They can go back and have access to this outside of the classroom. I'm happy to share. Here's conjuguemos.com to practice the subjuntivos. A Quizlet that I made with the irregular ones, dishes, and some subjunctive triggers, notes, indicative subjunctives timeline. So just some things that they just have like a place where they can all go to. Whether that's a Moodle site, whether that's your school site. Weebly is another free website creator. And I used Weebly to create like a professional site with different things. Like, if you go there, you can also see this presentations page that I sent you to, the same one. My Teachers Pay Teachers store, and my blog, class website. Yeah, video of me. So it is really your one-stop shop for all things Señor Noble on this site. But it's pretty easy to do. It's a pretty user-friendly website, and so that's another option. If your school doesn't have Moodle, Google Sites, but if you want to try Weebly, Wix is another one. I haven't used that. I have some teacher friends who have, and they really like that. It seems like, you just pick one. They're all free, so that's the beauty of that. But have it in like a central location. And one thing that I do too, it's so worth it to me, especially trying to maintain the target language, is like buy the domain name. So my class website, it's this whole big long sites.google.com/a pceagles.org, but I bought the domain srnoble.com to take them, right here. So that's really good. And if you don't want to pay, use is.gd and shorten the link then maybe. So is good and maybe your last name, see if that's available, or last name SP for Spanish or FR for French, whatever. But it's really nice because then I don't have to say, okay, clase, vamos a sites.google.com/a/pceagles.org. I can just say, okay, clase, saquen los iPads, vamos a señornoble.com, and just go. And then too, if they're at home, what was that site again? And it's really nice. It's worth it to me. I use GoDaddy. Right now, you can get 1 year for like $2.99 if you sign up for 2 years, and then it's like $15. I don't know if there's cheaper ones out there. There might be. I like that GoDaddy is probably not going to like close down in a couple of years, and that they're pretty stable and solid. I've heard of some people using some domains where it like closed up, but they got a really cheap rate, but it ended up closing up on them. So that basically ends my presentation. But how much time do we have, Deb?
We've got about till 9:25. Maybe open up.
Yeah. I wanted to leave some time for questions. So, and if there are no questions, we can go back to some of these Google Docs that you guys are in, and let's hear from you as far as some of these different tools that you're using. But first off, any questions? And we'll want to get you the microphone so our audience at home.
The Screen-O-Matic,
Yes.
do you think is worth the $15 per year? What other advantages do you have from the free version?
Yeah, so for the Screencast-O-Matic, for here's kind of where it breaks it down. You get a longer recording time. I've never needed more than 15 minutes, but with $15 max. I've never needed, HD with my thing, but you get that. This is all the same. This is all the same. You can put it on your drive. You can publish them. There's not the watermark. You probably didn't see it on that YouTube video, but it has this little watermark, and if I was really particular and I didn't want that.
Website or from a document
once this goes
read
down, I
back
believe.
to you. So if this could be helpful if you
I
have
don't know. It's
a
not
reading
showing up.
assignment and you'd rather listen
I
to
beat
it
the system
rather
on
than
that. But normally it has a little Screencast-O-Matic watermark, and which, again, I don't care, but if you're wanting to make it look more professional, so some of these. So you do get a lot, but it just depends. I don't consider myself a power user, and $15 seems not bad, but I'm able to do what I want to do with the free, and until I can't do what I want to do, I'm just going to stay free. Other questions?
For the screencasting options that you had there, which one do you prefer for student use?
I've had them use EduCreations before. In fact, in our digital literacy, I have them, I show them how to use EduCreations. And that's mainly because Explain Everything costs money. And so I've had them use EduCreations for their videos. And again, some of it's due to us being one-to-one iPads. If you're not iPads, maybe you want to use some of the other ones. But I think Educreations from the, we're 4 years, this is our 4th year, starting our 4th year, being one-to-one iPads. And when we first got Educreations and what you can do with Educreations now, it's gotten quite a bit better, and still for free, what you can do with the free version, it's gotten quite a lot better. One of the things that would make my students mad is like they're recording their video, they've got all their slides set up just how they want it, and then they're recording their voice and their little brother walks in and makes noise, and everything's got to go because, or you can just be like, get out, and then you have that audio on it. I told them, like, if you have something like that, don't throw it away, you don't have to redo, I understand. But now you can take that audio out and go back, and you haven't lost all your slides that you set up.
One of the things that we want to add is if you are joining us live on the stream, there is a chat button at the bottom of your window. So you can participate in the Q&A. Just click on that button and type in the question, and we've got somebody moderating that. So we will field your question, okay?
Great.
Hi.
Hey.
It's not really a question, but have you heard of blendspace.com?
I have not. Do you
I-
have that on here?
No, I did not put it on there yet. But I didn't know if
Blendspace.
you would
I'm
be
gonna
really a
write it.
screencasting tool or not. But my best friend, who teaches English, showed me or introduced me, and I used it for my sub plans today. It's very, very user friendly. It's free. It basically just lays it out for you step by step by step. You get to search for whatever you want. You can search Educreations, YouTube, Google. You type in Spanish-speaking countries and capitals, and it pulls up stuff. You can pull stuff from your own H drive, and that's what I left for my sub plan. So my kids are going to listen, and then and
Nice.
you can put exact directions on there. So blendspace.com was really helpful for me to do sub plans today.
That really sounds awesome. So just so you guys know, I've put that at the top of the Expanding Your Classroom, this first doc that we did. Let's see. Sir, question here. Oh, okay, yeah. Looks like it got answered, so we're good to go. What other questions? Let's maybe go down here, and if anything jumps out, maybe I know about it. Maybe the person who wrote it down would be better at answering it. But so, what do you do already to expand the walls of your classroom? We talked about some of these culture connection packets, Google Classroom. Google Classroom could be a place where you have all your stuff. Rather than just a Google site. And it would also, the nice thing about that is it's got the integration of all your docs stuff. Zoom, Latino Heritage Festival. I only got 3 of my students to go. I give them puntos de café. I offered 10 puntos de café for everybody in their class who would go, and I only got 3 total. And one of them was an international student who lives with us, and so she had to go. So really only 2. Real world homework, guest speakers. Awesome. And the nice thing with technology is you can bring in guest speakers. This guy that we're having in a couple of weeks is in Chicago, but he's going to come in and talk with our students about immigration from Chicago through Skype. So you don't have to be bound by the limits of where they're located. Google Classroom. Visit La Tapatia. I like taking my students there. Just walking around. I like going there. Houses in Guatemala. SpanishListening.org. Yeah.
Could we expand on Zoom?
Zoom, yeah.
A lot of times, I just don't know what it is.
And we have Zoom in here, right? Yeah, zoom.us, virtual meeting place. I'm going to highlight that too, so anybody who goes back and was looking like, what was that one? I'll put a highlight on that. So, so those of you who use Zoom, raise your hand. Okay. And so how do you said you use Zoom to do your recordings?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get the microphone. So I've only really gotten into the like Skype-like features of, you know, and you can set it up and have multiple ones, whereas Skype with the free one you can't. Or maybe you can now. It used to be you couldn't. So there's that aspect, the Skype, the chat aspect, but then the recording aspect is what?
Yeah, it's a free account. Under the free account, you can do unlimited 40-minute sessions. And I just paid for the paid account for our school. We have one, and that's unlimited time because we use it actually for our professional development technology training. We Zoom across town. We have some of our centers across town, so they join us virtually instead of driving across town. And then we record it, and I put it on my YouTube playlist for them to go back or if they can't make the meeting, they can watch it at a later time and fill out a Google Doc showing that or form showing that they watched it. But it's free to record, and you know it's by far it's been the simplest virtual meeting software that I've used actually. For anyone that's brand new to using it, new users, if you invite them, it's just a simple link they click on in an email that you send them, and then they're right in. They type in their name and they're ready to go. So we've used it really extensively. And the recording is very simple to do, and then, like I said, I upload it to YouTube. So, and it works really good. And people can join via text. They can join via their cell phones. I have people that have joined us on their cell phones driving before. So there's lots of different ways that they can join, and they can just type in too if they don't want. They can use their webcam. They can turn that off if they want. They can use just audio. So it's very versatile, easy to use.
Yeah, that's great. I haven't explored that side of it, but I could see that being very valuable. Lonnie, is yours more just the meeting, like having virtual class?
Yeah, virtual class, and then.
Hold on. Wait, sorry, Mike. There we go.
I don't know if you want this voice on the microphone, but yeah, meeting with students, and then sometimes for those shyer kids who for the interpersonal speaking or for the presentational speaking, that's another way for them to submit it to me. And then we do an online portfolio, and I found that it was a lot easier for students to, I would record myself making my own portfolio, and then kids use that. They would watch the recorded video, and then they were able to do it themselves step by step.
Great. So we got Zoom. Let me see. Man, a lot of good stuff here. So if there are questions, 1 minute.
Well, no, you got time. We just have a couple ideas that come in from people on joining us the live feed. One shared that they take their Spanish 3 and 4 students and have them teach their 2nd and 3rd graders. So for live built-in practice. Anybody else have opportunities to do anything like that in the classroom? See some hands coming up. And then another one mentioned going to a concert. They spend the day in Omaha in South Omaha, pursuing shops and grocery stores and eating in Mexican restaurants, so kind of more authentic, actual embedded opportunity. So some of you had mentioned some field trips, but just wanted to share their thoughts as well.
Awesome. So we got those entered into our doc for posterity. Yes.
Has anyone ever used Flipgrid for Google World Wonders? Ever used to see if you could go visit the land? I guess you go on field trips, but for other places that you maybe don't go, have you ever used either one of those?
Like a Google Earth or virtual field trip type thing?
Like World Wonders, Google World Wonders, or Google Institute. I don't know. That was one thing that I had talked to other teachers about using, but I didn't know if there was anybody in the room that actually had used that before.
Anybody in here?
The other one was Flipgrid. I know some of our schools are also using that for conferences, but we use that as a communication. They were able to record their self saying a passage. Yes, it is paid now. It wasn't before. There's an app and a website, but you could record students and they could have a conversation back and forth in obviously the language that you would want.
Anybody in here use Flipgrid or had some experience with Flipgrid?
We just adopted EMC, which supports Flipgrid, and it's a lot on their voice thread. If you used that before, a little different there. They can't upload a picture and all talk about the same picture. Okay, it's more like a grid, and they see the students in their class, and it's more private and moderated by the teacher.
I'm looking for VoiceThread alternatives because the VoiceThread app on the iPad is garbage. I tried doing this project with my students at the beginning of the year, and there were so many of them. Like, we were on our school's fast internet. It wasn't in their rural house, but it was on their fast internet, and it was just, it wasn't loading, and students had trouble creating their profile. They had to just sit and wait, and it wasn't ready for prime time, in my opinion. So I was kind of looking for something as opposed to VoiceThread. So Flipgrid might be a good alternative. All right, I think we're about time to wrap it up. So if you want to keep this going, feel free, add to this. Make a copy for yourself. This is your handout as well as this one. So we've got some of the teacher-suggested apps, website, games. I'm going to leave this up. Really, the only thing you need to remember is the is.good/TIC15. And I think it has to be all caps. I might work without, but I think all caps. Thank you very much for your time, and I will turn it over to Deb.
Would you give him a nice round of applause? Thanks so much.